Is keeping your gun clean seem to be time consuming? Are you even wondering whether you should clean your gun in between range trips? Well, in this video I'll show you some shortcuts to help minimize your cleaning time right here on Florida Responsible Carry. Hi guys, Steve here. If you carry every day as I do, you'll probably notice that your gun is starting to look a little dirty, a little dusty, and not just as clean as it was since the last time you came back from the range and cleaned it. Before I begin though, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel and to click that bell to be notified of future videos. Even if you don't fire your weapon on a regular basis, it's a good idea to visually inspect it from time to time to make sure it's clean as possible. Being exposed to the elements, your firearm is gathering dirt, dust, and other environmental pollutants. It's important to keep your everyday carry firearm up to date, or maintained that is, and you wouldn't want it to fail in the worst possible moment. And if Murphy's Law has its way, it will. So let's go over some quick maintenance procedures to help ensure that your firearm is in good physical condition and as clean as possibly be between major cleanings.
Now the only thing that I'll be needing for this cleaning is a microfiber towel here, small towel, and I've got some gun oil here. I've got Hoppy's number 9 with a little needle applicator. I like that kind of application where you don't get too much oil onto your firearm. Now, like I said, what we're going to do is just do a quick rundown to check to see how dirty the gun is and kind of clean it up in between your everyday carries here. Now, first and foremost, make sure that the firearm is clear and safe, and after doing so, we'll just break it down and check the weapon out. But first thing we'll do after we made our firearm safe is we'll give it a visual inspection. Just check out the body, the frame, the slide, and see if you have any dirt or dust that's built up on it. And I don't know if you can see or not, but I do have some dirt and dust built up around the front sight here. And a little bit of dirt around the beaver tail, the back, some dust. Just from everyday carry and keeping it outside for a while and carrying it on your person. I've got some debris and dirt on the trigger also as well, and the trigger guard and on the trigger itself. So what we'll do is we'll just give this a quick rub down and clean up some of this mess here. You don't have to do anything fancy, just give it a dusting. Just dust it. And the importance again of having made sure that your firearm is safe is that you're going to have to get into that trigger guard here and around the trigger. You want to make sure there's no accidental, or should I say in this case, negligent discharges here. Okay, after you've wiped down your firearm, let's go ahead and just break it down. In this case, we have the sear here. I've got the sear pin in the back, which I'll just go ahead and I'm going to utilize my tool for this firearm here. Now, some people say you don't have to push the sear down. Some say you do. If you don't push the sear down, you'll have to release the trigger in order to take the slide off. Pushing the sear down just saves you from having to do that. We'll put the frame right over here. We'll focus on our slide first. Now, what we're looking for on the slide is just basically dirt and debris in the slide itself. And also we're going to check our oil points to make sure that the oil that we have on here is not dried out. And in this case, it's kind of dried out some. I think it's been a couple of weeks since I've oiled this slide here, so I'll probably apply a couple of drops of oil. But for a quick breakdown, we'll just remove our recoil spring and our barrel. Now what we want to do also is to make sure that our striker is coming through the little hole here. To do so, as you can see, here's your striker right here, but it won't move because you have your striker block that's stopping it. So you just go ahead, push your striker block down, push the striker forward, and just to see if that striker is sliding smoothly without any resistance. If it's getting some resistance or it feels like it's sticking, then you might have to remove the striker itself to clean the striker itself, but that's rare that you'll have to do that. I have another video that I'll be putting out there on how to remove this striker itself. It's really not that complicated and pretty much universal between all striker fire weapons. So now that we've got our slide disassembled, let's go ahead and just kind of get a dusting out. Just make sure there's no dust in here. You don't want to get any dust into the firing pin hole, the striker hole itself. You don't really need to do much. If you have a can of air, you can go ahead and use a can of air to kind of blow out the slide itself and remove any kind of debris here. Okay, now our slide looks pretty clean. So does the barrel, and so does the recoil spring. But like I said, the oil seems to have evaporated on these units here, so we're going to go ahead and put just a little bit of gun oil on it, just to touch it up. We're going to go ahead and start with the barrel here. We're just going to put a drop on here, and then we're going to go ahead and just put a drop on the barrel itself. You don't need to oil the inside of the barrel. Some people do. They just take a cloth and rub it through the barrel real quick, just to keep just keep the rust and corrosion out of it, and it won't hurt it. It usually will burn off on the very first fire, the very first cartridge you put through it. The bullet, the exploding bullet will go ahead and clear out that oil, whatever residual oil in there. Now on the barrel, on top of the barrel, I just put a drop, maybe a drop and a half on here, and I just smoothed it out real gently with my hands here, just to kind of smooth it out. And don't want a lot of oil on here. Just want a little oil on the hook and on the head here. Let's go ahead and put our barrel back in. We're going to reassemble. You may have a little oil left on your fingers. The recoil spring doesn't need oil, but you can go ahead and just kind of wipe it down just a little bit. Properly put your recoil spring back into position. Make sure it's locked down. It's locked down there. Now, go ahead and, if need be, put a drop of oil on your oil points in the rail. Like I said, with oiling, a little bit is just enough. Okay, we'll set our slide down out of the way. Now we'll check the frame. Looking at the frame of your firearm here, you've already dusted the outside down, but you just want to look on the inside for any signs of dirt and dust. In this case, I'm looking pretty clean in here. I don't think there's anything that's really made its way in. Again, check your oil points to see if maybe a little bit of oil might be needed. In this case, it is. If it's not needed, if you rub your finger across it and you're coming up with a little oil residue on your fingers, then you probably don't have to worry about it. You're probably good to go. I also like to put a little oil on the trigger bar here. And like I said, just a touch on here. You just want a light coat, no more than a drop. This bottle will last you forever. Okay, after inspecting the frame of the firearm, everything looks good. It looks like there's no broken or extremely worn parts. There is one area I forgot to oil, and I do want to put this on here. As you can see, right here, there's some worn spots. That's metal on metal. And where you have metal on metal, you have wear. And it's a good idea to put a drop of oil on those just to keep them lubricated and running smoothly there. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and reassemble our firearm. I am going to pull that sear back up in place. We've got it reassembled. Go ahead and rack the slide a few times just to get that oil lubricated. Release the trigger. Do that a couple of times. And one final step is just to go ahead and give the complete firearm a last little wipe down. And that's basically it. You're ready to reload and reholster, and you're back in business.
Now, one thing I did not mention was the magazine. As a rule, I don't disassemble the magazine to take the spring out or anything like that unless the magazine itself needs to be serviced for some reason, and I've had that happen before. For a general maintenance type of function for the magazine itself, I do give it a visual inspection. I do take that microfiber cloth and just kind of wipe it down some, but basically that's all that needs to be done for the magazine. And that's how easy it is to keep your EDC clean in between range trips. I usually give my firearms an inspection at least once a week just to check for dirt buildup. And as you can see, the whole process just takes a few minutes, but it can save you much more time and a deeper cleaning in the long run. Well, thanks for watching, and let us know how you feel about general maintenance on your firearm in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell to be notified of upcoming videos. And until next time, be safe out there.